Hello and welcome to the Growth and Innovation Show on Import Export TV. My next guest is the trailblazing Asher Tan, CEO and founder of CoinJar, one of the longest running cryptocurrency exchanges in the world. Since 2013, CoinJar has helped more than 500,000 people to buy and sell billions of dollars in cryptocurrency. You started CoinJar back in 2013 when Bitcoins were worth $100. Fast forward now to 2021 and you run one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world. So what has that experience been like, and what kind of major lessons have you learned from taking a company from Melbourne and turning it into a big international company?
It's been a difficult time, 8.5 years. It's no secret we've been trying to crack the UK market for some time. And, initially we had a few people hired here, but I think it really took myself moving here about 3 years ago to really get things off the ground here. It's just the little things. I mean, it is possible to do it from afar, but especially in our case where, we have to deal with regulators and banks, and it's quite a difficult industry to get started. So I think it took me moving here and a commitment from the company that, we just weren't going to try once, but, have a few goes at making sure it was done right.
Yeah, I remember you back in 2013 here in Melbourne. We worked on a small project together back in the day. And you left for obviously many reasons, but the regulatory issues were one of the main reasons, or were there others why you moved to London?
I think the overarching issue has always been growth. Australia is a great market, but it is only a very small part of the world. Some businesses can scale well. Online businesses, if you sell software, you could probably sell from your bedroom to most of the world. But in reality, most businesses which are highly regulated or need some sort of physical items, usually you'll have to take the leap and try and position yourself in the country of where you want to operate.
So how do you see the cryptocurrency industry shifting and growing over the next couple of years as it becomes more and more mainstream?
Well, I mean, I think it's definitely more regulated now. I think regulators are understanding the industry much better, and we'll have more corporate partners and more financial institutions also trying to figure out how they can take part in this space. I think a side effect of this regulation is, firstly, it becomes more accessible to people. It may remove, some of the, more interesting parts of cryptocurrency, but at the same time, it's definitely allowed for more use cases and more productive, applications of the technology. So, you've seen it used in, pieces of art, ownership, raising funds. And so I think with more regulation also becomes more clarity of what's really permissible in the normal business world and, what regulators deem too high risk.
Yeah, everyone seems to be feeling their way, especially when it comes to regulation. So let's talk about altcoins for a little bit. They've proliferated massively over the last few years. And what are your thoughts on altcoins? And do you have any advice to people watching around the investment in altcoins?
Well, when we first met, David, I think that there weren't really many altcoins. It was mostly just Bitcoin. I think I was there for the first wave. And then, we've seen, I guess, different types of coins attempt different things. And I think, people explain Ethereum as, a decentralized computer. And now there's so many coins, claiming to do so many things. I think Bitcoin originally having been created to be, I think, a better type of money, but not all coins have that same aspiration. So I think you got to ask yourself, where's this project going? What's the community around it? And do you really believe in that community's vision? And, whether there's longevity in it.
So you mentioned before about, the blockchain being used for art and things like that. So let's talk about NFTs, or non-fungible tokens. They're getting a lot of press at the moment, and they seem to be the hot topic within the community. What are your thoughts around NFTs, and what are the main benefits people can actually get from owning an NFT or creating NFTs?
So for those who aren't familiar with NFTs, you think of Bitcoin as digital money and NFTs, digital representation of things that perhaps exist in the real world, or maybe a picture or a piece of music. So where money can usually be interchangeable, this is a unique item, one of a kind. So people have been using it to attach to art, mostly to try and sell it, to show that this is a unique piece of art. So I think the applications right now are in art, and there's a lot of excitement around artists finally monetizing some of their work. But there are other applications as well. Recently, I bought a secondhand racehorse from a digital racehorse of a marketplace. Had a few goes racing the horse, tried to breed the horse, and ultimately reselling the horse back on a secondary marketplace. And that's all through NFT and similar technology.
What are your thoughts around when NFTs are sold with a physical piece of art, and the NFT is used as provenance for that piece of art, but then the physical and the digital can actually split, so you can sell the physical, even destroy the physical, but the NFT still continues?
Yeah, I think there's a growing acceptance that there are going to be two worlds right now. One is the physical world, and one is a digital world, and with sometimes digital representations of things that exist in the physical world. And that exists in different forms right now. Some people play video games, some people have things they store online. But taking that further, how can we try to attribute some of these physical properties in the digital world? And we see these tokens being a bridge between some of that. So not mutually exclusive. They both can exist in their own realms, but it's interesting to have a stronger bond between a physical object and one that's in a digital form.
Back in the day when Bitcoin, we were all meeting, and there were Bitcoin meetings, and everyone was talking about Bitcoins. And one of the big thrusts was actually people using it as currency to buy things. Bitcoin ATMs, Bitcoin Visa cards. I think CoinJar does one. What's happened to that? It doesn't seem to have taken on people actually spending Bitcoin as currency as much as I thought. And we can look at El Salvador now, where they tried to implement Bitcoin as a currency, legal tender there. What are your thoughts around people actually spending and using Bitcoin rather than speculating and investing in it?
Yeah, so I think one side effect of the Bitcoin network becoming very popular is that transaction fees also increased at a high pace, making some of the cheaper Bitcoin ways of spending not very feasible. I think another aspect is also that the rise in Bitcoin price as well has made many people a bit reluctant to spend their Bitcoin. Both aren't catch all. There are new technologies that make it cheap, and even in El Salvador, you've seen people use Bitcoin at very low fees. But I think that's the reality now. There are some different coins for specific use purposes, and people are still spending Bitcoin. Perhaps it's not on coffees. They're spending it on, larger items, or using it as a store of wealth and transfer when there are big sums. But I think as this industry has progressed, we've seen specific coins used for specific reasons.
Final question, what's next for CoinJar? What are you guys up to, apart from conquering the world and sponsoring football teams that utilize mathematics to pick their strategies?
Yeah, I mean, the UK has been a great exercise in, really expanding our borders, a new audience that we can speak to, but definitely looking to bring that to more countries around the world, and create more products which are really good for customers and bring them some real benefits.
Fantastic. Well, look, Asher, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you have a fantastic day.
Thanks, David.